I looked at two midfielders the other day that could potentially replace Casemiro at Manchester United and Carlos Baleba and Elliot Anderson. Now, in this video, I want to look at another two options that have been linked to Manchester United in the past weeks and months, analyse them, talking about their position in the team, where they would play, how they'd fit into this United squad. So, let's get straight into it. Now, the first player that I want to talk about is Wolverhampton's Joao Gomez. Now, a player who, again, has been linked to Manchester United quite a bit. He was potentially looked at as a January option. But I think he's definitely more of the alternative, cheaper option to a Baleba or an Anderson. Now, what I would say about Joao Gomez, he's a very, very good player. And I know that will be a lot of the players that United are linked to. He plays in the midfield too at Wolves at this current moment with Andre, another Brazilian who's also 24. But Joao Gomez is someone for me who I think is definitely an option just based on the fact, listen, he's got Prem experience. He's a very, very good player. He's a talent, and I think one thing that Manchester United need is prospects, and I think he's someone who, listen, right now he's very good, but can go on and develop into a top player. Now, you look at what his strengths are, he's very aggressive and energetic. I don't think he's the greatest on the ball, but he's someone who is aggressive in the press, can win the ball high up, and ultimately someone who has been very important. He started not every game for Wolves, but he's been a very key player. He's played 22 matches for them in the league. I know he was suspended from one of the games against Manchester United. I believe it was the one at Old Trafford. Now, if you look at his contract situation, he has a contract until 2030. He's on 105 grand per week, reportedly. So he does have a few years left on his deal, so that could be potentially something that is looked at. But again, we know we have a good kind of relationship with Wolves. We've dealt with them just recently with Matheus Cunha and actually got a decent deal there. So yeah, I think that he's definitely a decent player to look at, and I think I don't think he's sort of someone who can make a line breaking pass or a ball over the top, but he's someone who can keep the ball ticking, simple, and he's a cheap option, someone that I think can be developed into a very, very good player. Now, in terms of price, as I said, he'd probably be somewhere in the region of 30 to 40 million pounds, with Wolves almost certain to be relegated this season as well. I think that obviously opens the door there, but a lot of clubs will be interested in signing him, especially in the Prem. We've seen what kind of Wolves they've sold a lot of their good players. You look at players like Pedro Neto, Matheus Cunha. Ruben Evans has gone on for big money. I'm sure I'm missing some other players. Strand Larson, we've just seen in the last few days, go for a bit of money as well. So they are a team that like to sell players. And I think Joao Gomez would come in and this team and massively improve their options. He's a better player than Ugarte. And in this midfield, I know Ben Jacobs was reporting that United want a positionally rigid number 6. And I think he would do that reliable as well. And at a young age, 24, decent profile. Now, the next player I want to look at is Bournemouth Tyler Adams. He's someone who, again, has got multitude of Premier League experience. He's played at Leeds. He's played at, obviously, Bournemouth now. Again, United States American, 26, so again, more on the sort of experience side of things. But I think, again, that's a decent age. He's a very, very good player for Bournemouth. I've watched him quite a few times this season. Obviously, he didn't play against United. Well, he did, but he went off injured at Old Trafford in about 3 minutes into the game. He's played 15 matches this season. I think he's a very, very decent player. He's currently out injured. And I think what Tyler Adams has, he's an all-action sort of midfielder, as in he can get around the pitch. He can put a cross into a box. He can score an odd goal. But I think what he does, he likes to bring up the ball from the back line. And I think he definitely is an interesting option. Again, he's more on the cheaper side, younger side, but he's definitely up there with one of the sort of better side on the stats this season. So listen, he's someone I like a lot. I think he's improved massively. He had that one season at Wolves. One season at Leeds, now at Bournemouth. I think he's definitely an option to bring in. But listen, who would be my choice out of those two? I would go with Joao Gomez. I think for me, he's a player 24 years of age, so a bit more younger. He got a lot of Premier League experience, probably less compared to Tyler Adams. I think for me, he's the sort of profile that United need. But again, I think in what Manchester United are going to do this season, they're going to go out and get a more sort of one of the big three, as I like to call them, in Anderson, Wharton and Baleba. And then they go out and get a more cheaper alternative, whether that is a Joao Gomez, a Tyler Adams, an Alex Scott. Who else is out there? Angelo Stiller. These sort of options that can come in, have potential, that can go on to be the next level. So listen, Joao Gomez would be the one for me. that Manchester United should bring in. I think he has very good quality. He's been a key player for Wolves. As I said, you can probably get him on a cheaper price for them, get him relegated. I think he'd be happy to join Manchester United. I think he is someone who would be able to handle the pressure of the club. I think he is ready for that step up. He has a good relationship with Cunha already, who again could potentially put in a word, Agent Cunha, get him to the club. But I think again he's been one of Wolves' best players, I would say, this season. I know Strand Larsen's been alright. I know Mateus Mane's been good. But João Gomez, every time when I watch Wolves against United, I think he had a decent game. And yeah, he's just someone who just does his job, competent midfielder, not nothing too flashy. And I think the one key thing for me is, I wouldn't say he's miles clear than Ugarte. I think he is better, but the fact that he's played in the Premier League, I mean, some of the stuff Ugarte is pulling off at the minute is outrageous. I think he tried to do a volley pass. I think it was against Brighton to Bruno, and he just passed out a play. Like, he's just not good enough, and I think João Gomez coming in would be a good option. But listen, that has been the second part of the two midfielders Manchester United should bring in. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And listen, Fulham game coming up soon. Let's see if Manchester United can get the job done. But that has been me talking about the midfield situation. Let me know if you enjoyed these, because I can do another part.